Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earl Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earl Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earl Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union, and by Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm Insurance.
Plus, Diane Kimbrough, Lady Di, your insurance PI. Also by Dive Shop and Diventures nationwide. Jim Keras Chevrolet with George Gully. Napa Cafe Memphis and Glenda Hastings. Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. For Memphis Magazine. The Live at the Garden Concert Series. And the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel, with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earl Farrell.
And thank you very much, and welcome aboard on this wonderful day here in the Mid-South. We're coming to you live, as Ron Olson and Karen Perrin just told you in the open, from Lansky's Clothier to the King. And up first today is my good friend Randy Wright with the Dive Shop and Diventures nationwide. Don't you love that? I mean, you know, we're spread out from Phoenix to Omaha, out to D.C., down to Atlanta. Cover the center of the nation really, really well, and we're still expanding. So I think the interesting thing is, of all the places you are, there's not an ocean near any of you.
Well, you know, it's the best place to be if you want to take people on good trips out of the country to go have some fun in the sun, you know?
Absolutely, and that's what I want to talk about. This is vacation time for most people, and so the season is beginning, and you take people literally all over the world.
We do. I'm headed to St. Croix here coming up just a week from this Saturday. Taking a small group down there. We're going to spend a week down there just diving and hanging out and seeing what the islands are all about. And then we're coming up just shortly thereafter in June. We go to Little Cayman, then Grand Cayman in July. We've got Roatan coming up in September. And then October, I'm off to Fiji.
Wow.
And then coming up next year, we've got Dominica. We're going to the Maldives. We've got, what else is in there? Indonesia, going to Komodo, the island of Komodo where the dragons are. So we've got lots going on.
You know, I've often said, people, being in news for almost 50 years, I've really led the life of a wealthy person, all the things I've got to do, but so are you.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You get to go around the world, and you're going with people who are loving what they're doing, because they're seeing, for most of them, at every point, at the beginning of their dive careers, that's the first time they've ever taken a trip underwater someplace.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's this is our 65th year in business this coming February. So this is our 64th year doing it here in Memphis, Tennessee, started by the McNeese family. They closed a record store, a toy store, and a jewelry repair business, and opened a dive shop back in 1961.
Toys for big kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing that I have been most fascinated by, just in our relationship over the years, and in TV I did so many things. I put on the dive suit, went underwater, and just loved it. I got certified, as you know, because we've talked about it before, in the Bahamas on vacation, and that course lasted about half a day. And when I think back to how much I did not know, it scares me to death. You can get certified on a trip like that, but the best way in the world is the training is everything.
It really is, and we specialize in the long-term type of training, the old way, the same way that the McNeeses were doing it 60 years ago. It's going to take a little while, 2 to 3 weeks of classroom and pool work, and then a weekend someplace to do your open waters. You can do it as locally. There's quarries and lakes nearby that you can do it, or you can get on an airplane and go with us someplace to where it's warm and beautiful and do your open water diving there.
For age, is it 12 when you usually try to start people?
It's actually 10 now. They moved the age back from 12 to 10 here probably about 10 years ago. The younger kids need a little more attention, and we do have some different supervision rates for them. So we can't have as many people in the group when we have the younger children involved. just for their safety, to make sure that everything
that they're paying
stays
attention
safe.
and getting it all.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also with older people, you do the same thing with, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of privates with the old folks too. The private thing though is for people that just they can't commit to a schedule. So we have our own pool, and all of the stores that we have around the country, there's only a couple that don't have their own pools, so we can always do it on whatever schedule you need.
And also, with a lot of people going on cruises this time of the year, I always advise them to go to the dive shop. You carry everything you would need for snorkeling, for if you're not scuba diving, the mask and fins to go to the beach, even if you're not going on a cruise. Do not waste your money buying cheap underwater gear, because you'll get there, it'll break, your kids will be miserable, you'll buy it twice or three times. Go to the dive shop and get quality stuff, and it'll last a lifetime.
It will last a lifetime. And, we also, this is Water Safety Month, actually. I don't know exactly who put together Water Safety Month, but I know that it's Water Safety Month, and we teach swimming. We start with babies, we teach adults. In fact, the majority of our business these days seems to be adults. Here in Memphis, we're doing a whole lot of adult swim. We have equipment for swim, snorkeling, and scuba, and it is not the most expensive, but the very best available that we can find.
Well, it's a great place to shop, and you teach people something that they'll use for the rest of their lives. And people can scuba and snorkel up into their 80s. I mean, not without a problem.
We've started people in their 70s.
Yeah, so there you are.
First time they've done it.
Give them a phone number, they can get in touch with you.
You can give us a call at 901-763-3483. That 3483 spells dive, so 763-3483.
By the way, it's a really good-looking jacket you got there.
It is nice. I came from a place called Lansky's. My friend Hal over there, Clothier to the King in the Peabody lobby, one of the most fabulous places you'll ever see to get some really cool clothes, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you should buy. Randy Wright, everybody. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you,
I know you got an appointment, so I'm getting you out of here.
Absolutely. I got to get my wife's car back from the guys down the street.
Otherwise, she's without a car, and you don't want that.
No.
All right. Thank you, Randy.
Take care. Thanks a bunch.
You bet. Coming up next is somebody that he's coming here for two reasons. George Gully with Jim Keras Chevrolet. Of course, everybody knows him from Jim Keras, but he is also very involved in a number of different charitable events. And one of the groups he's been involved with is the Memphis Grizzlies Foundation. And welcome to the show, George.
Hey, thanks for having me, Earl. You've got much better digs now than you did on the radio show.
Don't you know?
Oh, I feel it.
Yeah, and all the guests get to come in and try on a good-looking jacket like the one you got.
This one is nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to do that.
We've been selling a lot of clothes.
I bet you do, Earl.
Well, it helps if you look good in them, and you do look fantastic in this thing.
Well, thank you.
There's a couple of things we're going to talk about today. Number one, I'm going to talk about what you do with the Grizzlies and the Grizzlies Foundation, because people know you're in the car business, have been with Jim Keras for, 26 years?
Exactly.
And
all my life, all my adult life.
But you've also always given back, and that's one of the things I wanted people to get to know my sponsors for, because they do a lot more than just go to work every day at their jobs. They really give back to the community, and that's one way you do it is with the Grizzlies Foundation. Tell us about the foundation.
Well, first, thank you for that recognition. It's undeserved, but I've been a long life Grizzlies fan, and have been going to games for over 15 years since my son was in the 7th grade. And one night after leaving a game, I was approached by some of the members of the foundation, and they said, "Would you be interested in being a mentor?" To which I responded, "I'm not even sure why you're approaching me first, other than I'm just one of many exiting the portal." But I listened to their spiel, and they are out to help our kids, our youth, throughout the city. And ultimately went to an interview and learned more about it. And then that's been 6 years ago, and I've been with them ever since.
What kind of things do they do? Is it people from all walks of life that are mentors?
We need to know that this is something that they dreamed up. It's not in every city. It's not in every NBA team. They, the Grizzlies, took it upon themselves to try to improve our youth. And so in this particular case, they have 6 charter schools. They have over 150 mentors that they recruited over time. And then we, the adults, have in the range of 6 kids per class. We meet with them once a week during the school year. We have a curriculum set up by the Grizzlies. The infrastructure is set up by the Grizzlies. Elliot Perry, who many of you all remember back, of course, in his University of Memphis days and his Grizzlies playing in the NBA, is the foundation chair. And so we go a whole school year with them and just try to improve their life and impress them to move forward in life.
And you've been doing it 6 years, so you've had a chance to see kids grow in the program.
I've got one of my first kids now is a scholarship student at University of Tennessee, and also one at Tennessee Tech up in Clarksville.
And so, because I guess like anything else, you've got some kids that really excel, but some kids come in very shy and withdrawn, and I bet you've seen a number of them really blossom. And none of that, they get to be friends with the Grizzlies.
Oh, you do, and of course they want to see the basketball players,
Sure.
But that comes, but it's over time. These kids are usually 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Mm-hmm. So we're not dealing with 17 and 18-year-olds. We're at an impressionable age where we can direct them on a trajectory to go forward.
But it is a big commitment on anybody's part because you can't just dip your toe in. You got to come in and be there for the whole school year.
You do, and you have training during the summer months. They'll be recruiting right now, and certainly I'd encourage our listeners to contact the Grizzlies, and we'll put them out here on an interview down the road with you.
How can they get in touch with you and if they want to become part of the program?
Well, they could call me on my cell. It's 901-491-8343, and I'm at the dealership almost every day, as you know,
Sure.
And you could reach me at the Keras Chevrolet main telephone number.
Something big happened today in the world, which supposedly China and the United States have reached some kind of agreement on this tariff situation. I understand the stock market really soared.
Yeah, it moved up today. We've all been concerned about that.
And do you think, well, obviously we all think this is going to help the situation. That's a 90-day deal, but once they begin talking and people say, okay, let's get this world moving again, I think it's going to happen.
Sure. The move today improves with China. We are more concerned, for myself, about Canada and Mexico and some Asian countries as well, and it's on the horizon. So we're looking for better days.
But I know we've talked many times about this because it's been looming, and you remain very confident that, hey, the world's going to keep going.
Oh, it's
and
not
you're
slowing
going to
down.
keep selling.
I mean, Earl, we sell, gosh almighty, almost 2,000 cars a month.
Yeah.
So the American economy depends on automobile business, and we are well aware that we want them to be built in the United States. That's Trump's goal.
That's what this whole thing's about.
And it's going to take time for that to happen.
It took time for it to go to other countries.
That's absolutely correct.
So, well, I'm encouraged. If you're encouraged, I'm smiling.
We're going to make it, Earl, just like you're making it right now. We're glad to see you here on this show.
Well, and talking about good things about Memphis, too. And I
Absolutely.
think
I've been here all my life.
Yeah. Well, I've been here most of it now. As it turns out, I thought I was going to be here a couple of years, and that was almost 50 years ago.
You never know.
No. It's like coming to Lansky's. You don't want to leave.
Hey, I'm glad to be in Lansky's right now.
Well, I appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you, Earl.
Thank you. Up next, speaking of good things, Jason D. Williams. If you've never seen him, you're going to, coming up in just a couple of minutes. Right now, here's some more of my sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dawn Grader, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union. We're the proud title sponsor of the Earl Farrell for Memphis show. Coming to you live from Lansky's in the world-famous Peabody Hotel and celebrating all of the great things about our great city, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm so proud to be part of the Earl Farrell for Memphis show, streaming live from Lansky's from the Peabody. We will be showcasing not only Napa Cafe, but some great restaurants around town. We look forward to seeing you.
Hi everyone, it's Diane Kimbrough, Lady Di, your insurance PI. And I'm here to tell you about the new podcast that Earl Farrell for Memphis is doing. And we're doing it downtown live from the Peabody, which is behind me and next to the Rendezvous. And we're going to be talking all things Memphis, but we're also going to be talking about health insurance because that applies to everyone. And I can help you in every area. So I look forward for you listening to us and learning more about what we can do for you in Memphis and how I can help you with your health.
Hello, Memphis Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earl Farrell Memphis today. and we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Keras Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25, and I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching, Earl, and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Kathy Thurman, Edwards State Farm, and I'm so excited to be one of the sponsors for the Earl Farrell from Memphis show, broadcasting live from Lansky's at the Peabody. And I'll tell you all about what we've got going on at our office. Gift cards for quotes. No purchase necessary. I'm better looking than a lizard.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Diventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Diventures group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis, or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earl Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
Hi, my name is Jameson Todd, and I'm the director of Live at the Garden and the Radiance Amphitheater. And we're so excited for our 25th year of Live at the Garden here at the Memphis Botanic Garden. We've got a great lineup for you this season, so come on out.
Hi, I'm Olivia Wald, Director of Marketing and Communications for Memphis Botanic Garden and Live at the Garden. We've had Earl Farrell right along the way for the past 25 years, and we can't wait to talk more about the season this summer on the Earl Farrell for Memphis show.
So come out to Live at the Garden. Our first show is on June 21st.
Hi, my name is Scott Fueling. I'm president of Phoenix Communications here in Memphis. I'm really proud to support Earl Farrell's show, as is everybody else on the team. We love Memphis, and we love doing things to promote Memphis, and we can't wait for this to get started.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Jason D. Williams. This is also Jason D. Williams right here.
Hey, Earl, how are you?
Man, you really rock. I remember the first time I saw you, I went, who is that? And I said, that is Jason D. Williams. And you were just a kid. Actually, Hal Lansky was telling me the story. You came to Memphis. You were from El Dorado, Arkansas?
Yeah, down in South Arkansas, El Dorado. And I'd been at the time in Atlanta. And I had left on tour from El Dorado with an old rockabilly guy who was just unbelievable. Instead of coming to Sun, he went down to Houston with Willie Nelson. That his name was Sleepy LaBeef. Became one of the legends of rock and roll. And I went on tour with him first, and then I wound up in Atlanta. And I was coming back to see my folks in El Dorado, Arkansas, and a snowstorm stopped me in Memphis, Tennessee, 1982.
And I understand it. You came here to the Peabody.
Yeah, my car stalled out right in front of the Peabody.
Was that?
The snow stalled me out. It wasn't my car. I had a pretty good car.
But what luck! You stalled out in front of the Peabody.
And I had a captive audience. No one could leave, and the piano player didn't make it in due to the snow.
But you just happened to play the piano.
I did, and I asked him, could I play Happy Birthday? The lady there said, she said, "What? Can you play the piano?" I said, "I'm not bad." So I sat on the piano, and we had a great time. The Bells family were there. They welcomed me into the Memphis world, and it was just great. Had a lot of fun.
I understand Gary, who was a good friend of mine. In fact,
Yes.
Gary and his wife put us up here, my wife and I, for our honeymoon in the Romeo and Juliet suite.
And so I knew him back when we were all single, and I thought we were wild until I saw you. And
yeah.
but he's also in the music business out in L.A. And so
yes, he is,
when he saw you, he said, "This guy's got talent." How old were you then?
Well, let's see. I was probably 22.
So very young. And so, but you knew, and I understand you were self-taught. So did your family have a piano?
Well, we had one. My dad sold some Murphy oil stock to buy my first piano, and I always asked him, I said, "Did you ever regret that?" And he said, "Not for a minute." Of course, he bought some Walmart stock.
Yeah, so he did okay.
Yeah, the week it went out.
When you look back, though, and your interest in it, because it happens so many times that people who are really genius at things, and I think you really are a genius at your music, nobody does it like you. Even Jerry Lee, he had his style. You still have your style.
Yeah, you couldn't. My issue there, not that it was an issue with Jerry Lee, but you couldn't. There was no way to copy. A lot of people copy, and to be compared to Jerry Lee was the only thing in the book that I could be compared to. But I knew that if Jerry was doing something, it wasn't the lick or the energy or whatever, the technique on the piano that Jerry inspired me with. It was where his mind was when he was playing the piano, and that was always very interesting to me. He was the piano's a percussion instrument, so the way he would approach a percussion instrument was always fascinating. And then his just creativity on the piano, and that's what inspired me. Not his licks or his showman. I was playing with my foot before I ever saw Jerry Lee. Kids come up, my parents say you play with your feet. I say, well, my hands too, though.
They're in there.
There's a big difference, but that's all for show, but it's fun.
You're the other thing because I've kind of gotten to know you over the years. I've seen you so many different times, and I tell people, he's just an incredible performer. But when you get him away and just talk to him, unlike Jerry, because I've met Jerry a number of times, you're a very soft-spoken person. You're a very sincere person. I mean, you actually carry on conversations with people, which a lot of entertainers don't. They say, "Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Bye." But I see you having discussions with people in between breaks and before and after shows, and you sit and talk to them.
Well, because I always thought, without them, you're nothing. And, somebody caught me one time signing a bunch of autographs, and I was doing like that, a whole line of people. They said, least you can do is look them in the eye. And I was very young, and I thought, absolutely. I mean, it's I'd been taught that anyway. But I thought, well, of course. I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing. I mean, they're there to see you. And so... Yeah, you're right. There's a sincere factor to me that, but I have a lot of fun too.
You do, absolutely. But I think that's what makes you so appealing to other people, is they're having a great time, but you're having a better time, and now you got your family playing with you, and everybody. And I think that's another great thing about you. You play with your family. Your wife is very involved. She's in real estate. That's her gig.
Right.
But you're also very involved. And another telltale thing about you is that you're a birder and love watching birds. So does your wife. It's like her signs say Jennifer Bird
Williams. Right. Yeah. No, we've been I've been bird watching since I was a child. Maybe I think I was the youngest person in the Audubon Society at the time. Joined. I was 5 years old, and I'm 66 now, and so. Anyway, I've been birding. It's a passion.
It is.
From rock and roll music and boogie woogie and traveling, it was something to relax and enjoy. And
but the contrast, rock and roll,
big contrast. Yeah,
and then you go to the quiet and listen to them sing their songs and the forest and just the colors.
And, I did hear you mention a while ago that you and Gary were single and crazy at one time till you met me.
Yeah.
Well, Gary was my manager for a while, and we were in a car in New York City, and we were passing what's the big Carnegie Hall up there, and it was a summer day, and the doors were open, and in there, way down there at the stage, we were in a cab. They were moving the piano across the stage. Gary said, stop the car, stop the cab. We got out, he took my arm, jerked it, and we went down there. He said, jump up there, hurry. And these guys were moving, and they just kind of backed out. And he said, play that piano, play it. And so he took a picture, and he said, as your manager, I had you play at Carnegie Hall. I said, well, okay, Gary. That's what, yeah. So I did play Carnegie Hall under the management of Gary Bells.
Well,
but I did a lot of other things, too. You know, we had a key to every room here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
the police don't, I mean, there's still some files out there on us. I don't want to discuss that right now, if that's all right. Is that okay?
it is. Well, it's
all
like
right.
me when I went to work for the sheriff's office as the spokesperson, and they had to call all my friends across the country to do my background check. And they're going, what'd you get him for?
Oh, yeah, because you're right.
But,
I didn't know you worked for the sheriff. Now I do remember, yeah. So we really didn't have a key to all the rooms, just so you know. I mean, don't go
Cleans
checking
up that story.
Don't
now.
go checking things out. I mean,
What has been the best part of all this ride that's continuing for you? I mean, you're bigger now.
no,
than
we're I think last summer we went on tour with Dale Watson. I was in the middle.
You were playing with him last night.
Yeah, Dale. Yeah, he's a wonderful, just a genius writer, wonderful entertainer. But we went, he was Dale Watson, me, and then Reverend Horton Heath, Jim Heath, you know. And we sold out 40 shows, 40 straight, all out in starting New Mexico, Arizona, New Mexico, Baltimore, California, all the way up to Canada. And that rejuvenated me. It was really fun. I had not been out to the West in a long time, here and there, just a solo show or two. And then we went out there 40 days and 40 nights, and we sold out. 1,000-seat was the smallest place we saw.
Wow.
And it was just beautiful. And I came in, and people had Polaroid pictures. Here, I haven't seen you in 30 years. And so it rejuvenated. We're going back on tour we start in July, I think. And one of our shows is here in Memphis, Tennessee at Roosters on Highland. And
that place is hot.
On July 3rd. So if there's any tickets left, come get them. We're going to have fun. Me and Reverend Horton Heath.
Your shows are so energy packed. I really don't know how you do it, but you've been doing the same things since you were young. Is it doing it that keeps you young? Do you have to do that?
Well, I tell you, I exercise a lot. Run 2 or 3, 4 miles a day. I'm taking. I forgot to mention I got 6 heart stents, and I didn't need them. I just had them put
ahead
in,
of time.
Yeah, to open up my veins and
preventative.
all that. Well, I think I needed one, but this doctor here, he only had one house and one boat. Now he's got yachts and everything. but listen, I feel great, and so I tell you, back then when I was doing what you described, high energy, I had that 24 hours a day. Now I have shrunk it to just down to that hour I play that show, and that's fine. That's what But I've noticed. How old are you? You in your 40s yet? Are you
just over?
Over, a little over.
There's a 4 in it. I'm 74.
Oh, really? People ask me how old I am. I say, well, I'm closer to 40 than I am 90. And they start doing the math. It took me a long time to figure that out, really, myself. And my wife's real smart, but she, we had to do some math on that. It was hard, close. And I think I'm not right on that either. Now I turned another year older.
Well, they go by too fast now, so you can't keep up.
No, they do. Yeah.
You live on a 100-acre piece of property over in Arkansas. And is that the birds bring you to Arkansas? Is that why you went there? Or do you just like living in the country? And do you do any farming?
No, remember I told you my dad bought some Walmart stock.
That's what it was.
And or I would be a bird. I'd be living in a nest. We've done well. My wife, real estate, and like I say, I probably tour 125 shows a year.
Wow.
And so we do. We have our home here in Memphis, but I have a farm over there in North Arkansas. And it's beautiful, and it is for nature and birds, and I love it. I just go relax. It's in a real sort of a hidden village up in North Arkansas, Cherokee Village.
Sure, I know exactly.
And it's just absolutely beautiful. The lakes are clear, and people are wonderful.
first bluebird I ever saw was on the Little Red River over Greer's Ferry. And I'd always thought I'd seen bluebirds before until you see one, and you go, that is a bluebird. They're almost iridescent.
Well, that was not a bluebird. That was called an indigo bunting. And a bluebird is not completely solid blue. You know, he has a red breast. And this bird you're describing, sounds like, and they're iridescent.
Yeah.
And
that's what I saw.
That's called the indigo bunting. They're beautiful.
Well, I never have seen
what
anything.
time of year do you remember? Well, you were on the. It was summertime.
It was in the spring. Yeah.
Yeah, spring there.
And they've got a bunch of
they migrate feeders here, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But you still live here, and there are people. I moved here when I was in 1978. I moved here, and I was 28 years old, and I got here, and I thought I'd be here a couple of years. But I think people that aren't from here that move here appreciate Memphis a lot more than native Memphians because it's a very
I agree with
city.
that, yeah. In some cases, in your case, yeah, for sure.
It's just when I came here, I didn't know a living, breathing soul. Within a year, I knew just about everybody because it's like a big little town.
Well, you know, what you've done is wonderful, too. You know, I mean, that's incredible. And it's your personality and the things you've done for this city and Memphians welcome that, don't they?
They do.
It's one of the warmest places and friendliest places I think I've ever been.
I agree.
Things have changed over the years, but not so much that it's still not one of the finest places on earth to live. I totally stand behind that.
And the food's incredible. Your stints and my bypass can attest to that.
Yeah, I had to go get. I was wearing this large jacket, and a cat came up a while ago and said, I gotta have that. And I said, well, I'm wearing it. He said, you're Jason D. Williams. Said, I want to buy that off of you right now.
He did. And literally tried to buy the jacket off of him.
Yeah, so you tell Hal Lansky that
this ain't for sale.
Hey, and remember Mr. Lansky, you know, Bernard, way back, Hal's daddy.
I knew his dad.
Great man. He that was back when I was playing here at the Peabody, and I'd come in, he'd be a lazy Saturday afternoon. I was going to put on a show that night up there at Mallard's, and he'd go, well, come on in, Jason. A young man, come on in. I'd come in, and boy, next thing I know, I'd have the nicest suit on and everything, and I'd just walk out, do my show. I never knew who paid for it. Well, it was Daddy Jack that was paying for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Daddy Jack Bells, but you know, I was making about $6,000 a night up there in that.
You made him a lot of money. You were worth the suit, I think.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. One time, a guy came and said, I want to give you $2,000 to play my show. And I went to Gary, and I said, Gary, man, this is exciting. A guy's going to give me, I was making $250 a night plus, you know, tips. And I was so thrilled with that. But a guy's going to pay me $2,000. And I went, Gary, boy, this is exciting. He said, what's wrong with you? If you go do that, we're going to lose $6,000 a night. And right then, I had to learn math real quick. I said, well, wait a minute now. I'm making $250, and they're making $6,000 a night. But anyway, I didn't care. It was the greatest time of my life. I still don't, you know, do money very well, but I play hell out of a piano.
Well, that's what your wife is for. She figures out the money part.
Listen. That wife of mine, I've gotten awards, I've gotten plaques, I've gotten my name in streets and on billboard and everything, and not one time should it have ever been my name. Should have been her name. Every single time, in the sidewalks, because without her, I wouldn't have nothing.
Well, I think that's true of most men, is that it is the women that we're with that...
I agree. You're not going to get me to disagree on that.
Especially on that.
I like women, but I like this one I'm married to the best.
There you go.
She's the best. She's a winner.
Yeah, you said the right thing.
Earl, I've learned from you. You got a beautiful wife, too. We married way up.
Oh, way up, yeah. And I can't even play the piano. Yeah.
Well,
so I had to use every resource I had.
Well, that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't say another word.
That will.
Do you have a lot of young people come up to you because that's when if you have some talent, you want to do something with it, and ask you, how do you make it in this business? Because it's a tough business.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy at this point, although my son just graduated 2 days ago, Christian Brothers High School here in Memphis, Tennessee, and he's going to Arkansas, University of Arkansas, but he has started playing. I'll tell you, Earl, 1 second he could not play the piano. He said, Dad, show me a little something on the piano. I did, and I just walked away. The doorbell rang. I went in there, and I answered the door, and their eyes were big as silver dollars. He looked at me and said, if I'm looking at you, who's playing the piano? And I walked back in there, and I swear to you, that boy was tearing that piano up. He's been playing 2 years. He's playing all over. He's playing here at the Peabody now in my footsteps. But you've got to tell him, and anybody that meets him, tell him he needs to go get that degree first. And then after that, whatever he does after that, play. I wanted him to play. When I could see he could play, I said, well, you need to have that in your heart, play just to have. Rest your life.
Yeah.
But he kept progressing. It's scaring me. I don't want him to be a musician. I'll tell you, I heard that guy with, one of those funny groups, big groups, that guy anyway. He was doing an interview. This was 20 years ago. And he said, big one of them big rock groups, got long hair and all. Well, they all got long hair. But anyway, and he said, when I first started, there were 60 touring bands. Now, this was 20 years ago when I was here in the interview. He said now there's 6,000. So how many do you think there are now? To your point about it's hard in the music business, so that's why I said I wouldn't wish it on my... But for him, I said, listen to anybody but me and Jerry Lee Lewis. And that's all. I get in the car. He's got one, me and Jerry. I said, Memphis Slim. Phineas Newborn, I'm mentioning the two.
Yeah.
Good men. And anything other than me and Jerry, you got that.
Well, the thing is, it's so distinctive. My mother-in-law had taught me piano for most of her life, and I just said, I'm going to learn how to play one song. And she's go, okay, what is it? I said, Great Balls of Fire. She goes, it ain't going to happen.
I can teach it to you.
I said, is it hard to learn? She said, you got to start off with dun, 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 and work your way up from there. But I said, if I could just walk into a place, in fact, I saw it happen when I was in the 7th grade. We'd give this little Coke party, back when it was Coca-Cola.
Yeah. And
this girl and this guy rolled up on a Dreamsicle, a Honda Dreamsicle. Remember, it was white.
Yeah.
Had that flared rear fender.
Yeah.
And he had bleached hair. And he walks inside, and he sits down at the piano, and they play that duet together, that dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And they played it together. I said, well, I'm leaving on my bike because this guy can play the piano. He's got a Dreamsicle and bleached blonde hair,
He put you to shame.
I had nothing.
No, but, well...
Is that when you really fell in love with it? Was when you played out in front of some other people and you got the response?
I was a little kid, and the first time I ever played in front was at a nursing home. And to this day, I go to a nursing home. I say nursing home, whatever they're called these days.
Retirement community.
Yeah, which I'll be in not too long, but it don't make any difference. I go and enjoy those places because that's the first place I played. I was a kid about 5 years old. My granny was in a retirement home, and I went over and I played the piano. They had all circled around, and they clapped. And boy, I cried and ran to my mom, and then I looked around. They were still clapping. I thought, I like this. so I went back and played again, and that's how it started. And so I've never forgot that. And every city I try to go to a place where, a retirement home or something, and play, and they're fun. And today, they're paying you, not me, but my son has already played some locally here and in other cities too.
Your son, Canyon, who I just met just a minute ago, he's playing here, but Hal told me, he said that he could play here, but that he said don't play anything but boogie woogie and rock and roll.
Yeah, which he likes to play the most. When he applied here, they said, well, listen, we'd love to have you and everything. Just don't do any of your dad's stuff on the piano. And I don't know how to take that, but I guess it's all right.
Well, they probably want to keep the mood real calm.
Yeah, I said. Yeah, I told him. I said, Canyon,
nobody stays calm when you're playing.
You're lucky to, they're very kind and gracious to let him play here, and he's doing well. And but he was down Hernando's Hideaway, that old honky tonk here in Memphis. That
Jerry Lee's old hangout.
Yeah, Jerry Lee's old hangout. When I would play here years ago, I would tell everybody, it'd be 2 a.m, and I'd say, okay, it'd be still a packed house up there, and I say, okay, we're all going down. And a lot of people that played at Mud Island would have already done their show, and they'd be sitting in there. I mean, Prince, every name act you could imagine back. And I say, okay, we're all going down to Hernando's Hideaway. They'd look around, where's that? And so I'd get in my car, and we would have a caravan going down there. And there was an old lady down there. You walked in a door, kind of like a cattle gate, and then there was a small little area, and an old lady back behind the kind of a little gate there, and she had a cigarette hanging out of her mouth, and she'd look you up and down. You remember going down, and she'd look you up, and she'd either do like that or that, whether you could come in or not. And
she was always the gatekeeper.
Yeah, gatekeeper. She was a real live gatekeeper, and so you'd go in, and then Jerry Lee would pop in. You never knew where. Or saw Roy Orbison come in one night, and we just had it was a great time down there.
You know,
Jerry Lee learned a lot from me down there.
What was it like the first time you met Jerry Lee?
The embryo stage, or when?
I'm just saying, what was the encounter like?
Yeah, the encounter was great. I was about 10 years old in Arkansas, and he came to do a show there, and so that was the first time I met him. But re-met him several times over the years before I moved to Memphis, and we became very close.
Because I understood that at first he was kind of standoffish, but as he saw you for who you really were,
yeah.
You weren't trying to take his place at all.
No.
And you told him
that'd be hard to do for any human.
But and you told him how much you admired him, and I think he thought you presented yourself so well and so respectfully, and were really good, that he really couldn't complain about it. And then you actually got to know you, and you got to be friends.
Good, yeah, good point. Yeah, it was total respect from me to a talent like that. And still to this day, you know, way back. When he would do shows, they might film him, and at a college or at a small event or something, take that reel and put it up, and it was never to be seen again till this YouTube thing has come out.
YouTube,
and you can see everything he did.
Yeah,
back, good, bad, and indifferent. And they could, they would. So you're seeing things. So kids now can look at that, and I'm quite sure they're very confused at what an idiot. When I tell you this quick story, one time I went to see Jerry Lee. He told me, well, come on. I was in Atlanta living there, and he said, come on out and see me. He was playing 2 nights. He was playing 2 nights. Well, the first night I went out, he cussed the audience out and used every, vulgar word in the book, kicked the drums in, played about a half a song, and walked out. Next night he came back. He praised the Lord, and he sang all the gospel songs, and he played 2.5 hours, rock and roll era. And to this day, I don't know which show I enjoyed the most. Because that was Jerry. They were both shows. They were both shows.
It depended on his mood.
Yeah, it depended. Right. And that's what he expressed on the piano.
Yeah.
So.
I knew J.W. Whitten, his road manager.
Yeah, I loved J.W.
And I'd see him out a lot, hanging out with Gary Bells. But first time I met the Killer was at the old Alon's nightclub here.
The strip joint?
No. This is another Alon's.
Oh, yeah. Another Earl Farrell, too.
Definitely that. So
I knew I didn't see you there.
No.
Because I wasn't there.
Me either. But we walk in, and I see J.W. sitting at a booth with Jerry Lee. So I walk over, and he kind of waves to come over. So I introduced my date to Jerry Lee and shook hands, and J.W. And so we exchanged pleasantries, and I went and sit at a table with my date. A minute later, this waitress brings a bucket of champagne over and 2 glasses and said, Mr. Lewis said he wanted to buy you a bottle of champagne. I said, well, thank him very much. That was very, very nice of him. And so she poured the champagne. We take a drink. And a minute later, the waitress comes back and said, "Mr. Lewis says if you don't come drink with him, he wants his champagne back."
Yep. There it goes.
There it goes. That was the mood he was in that night.
Man, we talked for years about Jerry Lee, what a great talent, and Elvis Presley and the whole Sun situation here. And I was the last person signed on Sun Records when it had moved to Nashville. But I went from RCA to Sun. Elvis went from Sun to RCA. I think we're only two that have ever done that.
Yeah, it's
not putting myself in Elvis. Although I got a nice jacket on here from Lansky Brothers.
Clothier to the king.
Yeah, clothing to the king, and the Pope, and the Pope too.
Yeah, but I understand the Pope's real name. His friends call him Bob, the new Pope.
They do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's from Chicago, and they've been interviewing all these people, and they call him Bob. But it's do people call you? Ever call you Jerry Lee? Or I know you used to. The word was you were Jerry Lee's illegitimate son, but there was never any truth to that, right?
I mean, the more I think about it, I just wonder all the time. But I was adopted, and we had great talks about it, and they were mostly fun, lighthearted, but he knew some stuff that he shouldn't have known, I'll tell you that.
Well, he did kind of travel in your part of the country.
Yeah, he did. And
it ain't like you don't look like him, and it ain't like you don't play like him.
Walk like a duck, talk like a duck, since we're at the Peabody, that's what they used to say. But I don't know, he's, I do play.
Well, and look at your son. It's like Willie Nelson's son. He can sing exactly like Willie. And
well, if nothing else, it proves that genetics are real.
Yeah.
I'll never doubt God or genetics.
No.
I mean, they
neither one of them lie.
That's you got that right, Earl. I guarantee it. Earl, boy, he's sharp today.
It's like Jerry Lee. I got my good days and my bad days.
This is a good one.
This is a good one. And I really appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us.
Thank you very much for asking.
I wanted you to be one of the first to come in because I think you are one of the great things about Memphis.
That's very kind. Appreciate it.
You play for a lot of charitable events here in the city, raise a lot of money for a lot of different people. That does not go unnoticed by people, and you're a good person. And I think that's why I wanted to let people know what you're really like, and I think we did today.
I'll play for any charity event. It's my band that has the problem.
They have a money problem, right?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, it ain't charity for them. I told my wife one time, I said, get in a bank account and call. Name yourself on their charity. So I go to a lot of shows. I say, we're going to sell a lot of our merchandise today. In 98, and I look over at my drummer. I say, is it 98 or 97? He goes, 98. I say, 98% of the money we sell from our stuff goes to charity. I said, charity, stand up a minute. Show everybody. Come down here. It'd be my wife, she'll stand up. But because 98% of it goes to charity.
I
don't know what she does with the money, but I do have a farm up in Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, you're a great person, a great talent, and I mean that sincerely. And I really appreciate you coming in and sharing some time with us. And we'll have you back. I'd like you to bring your wife next time, and we'll sit down both of you because
I say, she's the one.
Well, and I'm sure she can shed some light on other parts of your personality that we didn't get today.
Yeah, we'll cancel that show already. We don't. I mean, what light do you want? What kind of light do you want on the Earl Farrell show?
You may have a point there.
I mean, you may have to change the ratings on this thing.
That's like the preacher that everybody's to get up and tell him what sins they had committed, and this guy tells his story, and the preacher goes, "I don't believe I'd have told that one."
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing some preaching myself, but
you can probably.
I've got According to you, I'm a nice person and all that. Right back at you for what you've done to Memphis, Mr. Farrell. I guarantee it's been. They love you, and we love Memphis, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, sir. And that is our show for today. I'm glad you got to share it, and it'll be up on the YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. Is now. Watch it. Get your friends to watch it and like it, and go see Jason D. Williams and see Charity as well.
Yeah.
Buy all the merch you can buy. And come to Lansky's. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Come on over, baby. Whole lot of shaking going on. Come on over, baby. Now, honey, you can't go wrong. I ain't baking. A whole lot of shaking going on. Let's shake it, baby, shake it. 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 Hella, come on, baby. A whole lot of shaking going on. Coming home, ain't faking. Oh, come on, yeah, shake. Come on, shake. Everybody stand up. Now let's shake it one time. Come on, everybody, let's get on your feet one time. Oh, let's shake, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Move it, move it. Get down, floor, do it. Come on. Trumpet. Mr. Rodney Pope Williams playing for his brother. Gonna be all right. Mr. Mike Harper been with me 30 years.